And we are back. Let me turn that mic down. Common Specifics, episode 4. We're not going to talk about the inconsistencies. We're not going to talk about how long it's been since my last confession. Joke. Since my last podcast. We're not going to talk about that. We're just going to get right into it. Right? This episode is brought to you by me. I don't have sponsors yet. I'm not that fancy. If that made you laugh, I'm glad. I hope I got you. If you thought that I was that good and I had sponsors already, you're crazy. All right, so I was looking back. I was looking back at my list of episodes that I had when last time I was saying I was gonna go consistent on this thing, but a lot of these, some of the titles, I actually don't even remember what I was going to say about them. And then a lot of them, in light of recent life changes, recent life events, I just, my desire to talk on some of these titles is, it's not there anymore. But I mean, still they're good, and still, let me back up from this. The cord was hitting the table. Still, I mean, you still got a lot to talk about. Still got a lot to dive into, Even though my desire isn't there to still talk about these topics, you still got a lot of other topics to talk about, and there's still a lot of meat in those potatoes there. I can still get a lot out of those topics, even though I don't even want to talk about them. Either way, today's episode. Where is that title? Energy. That's what the episode's about. The episode is about energy in interpersonal relationships, whether it be professional, just friendships, whether it be romantic, energy. And maybe I shouldn't be recording this one. I think probably, depending on how this goes, I may have to re-record it. And I hate re-recording, because it's like, when you say something good and you're like, how do I fit this in to this new recording? Because it already flowed out of me real nice and natural in my last recording. Sorry, hold up. There's a fuzzy on this microphone. I want to get it. There you go. Got it. That scraping sound was me getting that fuzzy. I'm pleased. I'm pleased with myself. I solved the problem. It's like I have OCD over here trying to get the fuzzies off my mic. Excuse me. But yeah, it's like whenever I try to re-record something, then I'm like sitting there thinking, oh, well, that was really good what I said. And while I'm flowing and saying what I'm saying, I'm also thinking in the back of my mind, okay, when will be a good time to fit in that thing that I said the last time? Because I said that, and that was like masterfully put, masterfully, expressed, right? And it always just throws me off. So anyway, energy, right? It's a big deal. It's more of a big deal. It's more of a big deal than I would have liked to give it credit. Like to give credit to it back in my younger days, back when I wasn't initiated, or back when I wasn't as informed as I am now. Energy is a big thing. I would say that the amount of energy that I used to put out in relationships, or the amount of energy that I guess I used to put out towards my work, it's definitely been dialed back, or not completely dialed back, but I'm more efficient at expending that energy now. And so when I'm saying energy, when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about how much effort you're putting into interacting with someone. Just pretty much how much effort you're putting into work, right? Like physical work, right? Because you can lift that bag with intensity, or you can lift that bag very lazily and with poor form. Either way, you're still lifting the bag, right? If it's a heavy bag on the floor, it needs to go on the back of a truck or on some kind of trailer or something like that. You can lift it with perfect form and so much gusto, right? Or you could save your energy. Maybe there are a lot of bags that you got to be lifting in life. That's just life. Bunch of bags, you got to lift them. Just put that on a t-shirt. Anyway. So yeah, energy, I think it's a big deal. I'll first get into it with the profession wise. I would say a big reason why my energy is it's more conserved now. I'm very I guess mindful about how I expend it, right? The reason why is because, well, first I've learned how to interact with people. So like I find myself playing chess. Well, I used to play checkers, but now I'm playing chess. It's like, okay, how much energy and time and effort am I going to put into this person or this project or whatever, right? And I really do. I'm like a lot. Sometimes, yes, I do make sure, that I'm very mindful and I put thought and tact and time and energy into certain things. But I mean, that's few and far between now. So, I mean, for one, I think that's because I've gotten better at expending energy, right? Like I've become more efficient myself, but just in general, I'm just like, all right, is this worth my time? Right? And a lot of times things are not really worth your time. If you really sit there and think about it, they're not really worth your time to even get involved in, right? So say professionally, you're at work and maybe you see someone say something, right? Or you hear someone say something, right? And it's about something that's coming up. And maybe it's about a deadline for a mass group of people, right? Or it's a deadline for you to take action on something. Does you taking action on that certain subject or whatever it is that really going to change your where you stand at the moment? Is it mandatory, right? Can my energy be used? Can my thoughts be used? Sorry for that. I'm having microphone distancing issues right now. We're getting back into the swing of things here. I'm freestyling it too. The mic isn't even on the desk. I'm holding it in my hand right now. So there you go. We've come a long way. Graduating from from the beginner days. Got a little bit of experience. Still a beginner. Anyway. So, is me putting time and effort going to change my situation right now? Is it even worth getting into? I know me and my profession, definitely a lot of things like, especially nowadays, definitely a lot of things you can put time and effort into them. And then you realize that you're sort of spinning your wheels, or you realize that you're pretty much the only one who cares about it. And the reason why you care about it is because you actually put a little bit of energy into it. And then you sort of got roped in, to that certain thing. And then you're there stuck expending energy while others are conserving or doing other things that matter to them. I don't know. Yeah, so that's just food for thought. You know, I just find it more important, to conserve that energy, setting rules for yourself, boundaries, if you will, right? And then with your friends, right? I mean, even we can just go to romantic relationships. That's a hot topic nowadays, isn't it? 'Cause I mean, friends and family. You always got to go the extra mile for the friends and family, man. Those are the people who are, if you're choosing your friends wisely, they're gonna be a ride or die. You got to show out for your friends, but romantically. So professionally, I would say the big takeaway for that is like, listen, if it's not really putting food on your table, like, just back away from it. Don't even get involved, unless you really want, unless that's something that you're interested in, save your energy because you're going to need it. Life these days is just a laundry list of tasks that never really ends, especially when you get older. It just keeps on going. It never ends. From, managing your professional time, personal time, home ownership, car ownership, geez. And then we got to pay taxes at the end of it. Oh, don't get me started. So yeah, that definitely big for me to conserve my energy, I'll say this, even people, it's funny. And I notice, like, I say lately, like, I'm getting jaded, about work, but it's just after you see the same thing over and over again, you realize that even if you did do something to try and change the world, try and help all the people, I'm not saying don't help, but don't, like I said, be efficient with that energy, with your energy, because it's important. I'm not saying don't help, but just make sure that you're not over there pulling out all the stops, pulling out all the tools in your tool bag, because you could lead a horse to water, but you can't get it to drink, and don't waste your time, because your time is precious, right? You never get it back. But yeah, so that's it about professional relationships. But personal relationships, when it comes towards like romantic relationships, definitely, like I said, that's the hot topic these days. At least, I don't know, in my algorithm, I think it's pretty funny to research. So boy, I get on my dang George Washington cherry tree stomp when I be talking about romantic relationships, because I find it interesting, even how I've like traversed, romantic interactions throughout my life. Like, it's definitely energy expenditure is definitely a big thing. Like, it's more important than you would think. I remember one time I was at work one day, right? And I knew this guy. He just got there, but I knew him from a previous work center, right? And so we're sitting there. I used to work on airplanes, right? So we're sitting underneath the aircraft, and I think we're doing like an inspection or something. And he says, he's new to the area. He just gets there, and what does he do? First thing he does is he downloads, what was that? Plenty of Fish. Back in the day, that was the hot one. Yeah, I think I used to use Plenty of Fish too. I'm on my time on dating apps. I mean, usually, you build up, your roster or whatever, and then you just move on. So that was pretty much it. Like, I wasn't like an avid user of dating apps, like serial user, obviously. Like, I remember, vividly for sure. Like, I would download the app and then use it, you know, be dating for a while, and then I wouldn't use the app, and I'd be like, dang, I gotta get back on this thing. And it would be like 6 months, 3 months or so, and I had to get back on there. Either way, this dude downloaded the app, Plenty of Fish, or maybe Tinder. I can't remember what he used, but I'm pretty sure it was Plenty of Fish, because that one was pretty popping back in the day. So he downloaded it, and then he was telling me, he was like, yeah, I'm hitting up these ladies, and they're just not responding, or they're saying that, yeah, let's go on a date, and then they'll agree, and then they'll just stand me up. It's like, what the hell? Or the day of, they'll just say, no, I'm not feeling it. Or they just won't respond the day of, they decided to go meet up or whatever. And I was telling them, I was like, man, that's rough. And you know what's funny? I mean, because this was what? This was back 2014, 2015 maybe. Obviously, I had experienced the same problem, right? But I guess I looked at this dude and I was like, hey, you know what? He can definitely use some work in the looks department, right? He was a little bit chubby, right? A little bit chubby. He had like he looked like, he had some chompers on him. His teeth were, the guy could bite a wall. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. I didn't say any names, so I'm just describing to you what my coworker, my old coworker looked like. The dude could bite a wall. All right, and so I was like, dang. I think he probably expressed to me that he wasn't even able to get a date or whatever, and I was like, dang, that sucks, because I was steamrolling back when I was on the maps. I wouldn't say I was freaking killing it, but I mean, I did pretty good for myself. So there you go. That's out there. That's me being humble. I did good for myself. I'll be honest with you. And so, but I mean, I still experienced the same things that he was experiencing, right? So, I would line up something and then meet up with somebody, or the day of that I was supposed to meet up with someone, and then they would flake, and I'd be like, well, this is BS, typical stuff, right? Like it's nothing out of the ordinary. Like that's just the nature of the beast, and it really didn't, how old was I when I learned? Because back then I was what? I would say 2015. 2022 was when I realized like what was going on with that whole interaction right there, right? So that took me a while to even sort of seeing like the audio like red line right now. I don't know if that's like the uncomfortability of the audio in the listener's ears, but we just gonna roll with it. If it's really that loud, then I'll just turn down the audio when I upload. But either way, so it took me 2022, I said. So 15 and 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So that's 7 years of dating, right? And I guess, you know what? Looking back on it, privilege is blind to the people who enjoy it, right? So I was, I guess, a desired candidate or whatever, a desired archetype of male. I guess I still am. I would say I still am. I'm a desired archetype of male that's on that was on dating apps. So I would still experience, getting stood up, getting left, getting ghosted, getting left unread or whatever. But I wasn't experiencing it so much to where I thought it was like I was getting angry or I thought it was like a problem. You know what I'm saying? I was getting more meetups and I was getting stand-ups. You know what I'm saying? So, but tying it all into the energy, right? So it was 7 years later when I actually realized, like, okay, the less energy and effort that I put in, I mean, because I was 21 then. It took me all the way until I was 27, 28 to actually realize exactly what was going on. Granted, I was, in and out of relationships at that time, during those times, and I wasn't in the dating scene the whole time, but still, like, energy in your romantic relationships, so not even just dating. So even if you're already with someone, right, you want to use that energy to the best of your ability to benefit you, right? For me, I don't know. I feel as if for me, it just, whenever I started really metering my energy in interactions with other people, it opened up it opened up my mind to not only how men and women interact in this modern day, but also to the anxiety of social interaction. And also it opened up my mind to like exactly how it feels to, I guess, be a person that's not desperate. It opened up my mind, or it made me see like how pandering to other people, or like, doing the best you can to get the attention of others, it's not attractive, And I guess in life, whether it's personal and professional, we're looking to interact and be around people who are attractive, socially, physically, mentally, right? We want to be around people who are attractive, because if you're not looking good, or if you're not sounding good, or whatever, not thinking good, and you're just going to repel people, right? So that's all I gotta say about that. It just made me realize things, like, just literally, like, so for example, right? Like I said, I was out of the dating scene. When I got back into the dating scene, just setting rules and boundaries, big, like really big. I don't want to say DJ Cat like major key, but I mean, dude, it's so important, getting back out there. If someone oversteps your boundaries, you're not going to use energy to keep in contact with them, continue to contact them, or continue to talk to them, right? Or try to win their favor. No, like, when it's over, it's over. Like, literally setting up those rules so that, your energy is not wasted. On top of that, whenever you're interacting with someone, just like my poor coworker, right? He said, "Oh yeah, I'm having trouble with these ladies standing me up." Like, 9 times out of 10, I bet you that guy was still hitting these ladies up after they made plans with him, or they were texting him and then they ghosted him or whatever. I bet you he was still hitting up like, hey, haven't heard from you for a while. Cause like you see it, right? You see it. And I mean, I've done it too, but the big thing is that you don't want to be that person, because once someone sees that you're not, you're careless with your energy, right? Then they'll abuse you, right? So, and that ebbs and flows, right, throughout your life, professional, personal, all of that. It ebbs and flows, right? So, just keeping that energy and conserving it and protecting it is so big, because you want to, I mean, obviously, say if you're already in a relationship, right? You're not going to expend so much energy at work that when you get home, you can't even enjoy with your friends or your family, right? So, big deal. It's a big deal, man. But definitely romantically, like, if you keep on expending your energy, using energy to try to win someone's favor, it's just not going to be viewed like, you're going to be viewed as a sucker, right? Not attractive, right? So yeah, it's and you can replace that word energy with with whatever applies to you. But just, I don't know, whenever I was thinking about the topic of this episode, I was like, man, you know what? Energy. That's a simple title right there. It's a simple buzzword. Use that energy correctly. If you're dealing with someone, male or female, professionally, personally, and they're just not giving you that energy that should be reciprocated properly, because your worth, right? You put energy in something or someone, you want to see that energy given right back to you, right? It's like a tennis ball, like you're playing tennis with everybody, right? But if someone's giving up on the play, or, they're barely getting the ball over the net, that means that you need to stop playing tennis with them. Don't try to get that serve going again, get that 15 love going. No, game's over. Break the racket over your knee and go get you an Arnold Palmer or whatever tennis players drink, and yeah, definitely huge. And make sure that energy is conserved, it's used correctly, and obviously, you know what, if this message does not resonate with you, or maybe this went over your head, maybe it went over my head, if this is just like, nah, what the hell is this dude talking about energy, sound like a hippie, give it 7 years. All right, give it 7 years, and you'll and then, you know what, I don't have any plans of taking these videos down or audio recordings down. So I'll tell you what, give it 7 years, come back to this video, and then listen to it again. I bet you will make sense. Because if you told me back in the day, if you told me like, dude, if you did this and this for this person, and then they can't even freaking respond back to your text. Oh, snap. Hold on. Boy, that's funny. Oh. Whew. Thank God. Yeah. If you did X, Y, and Z for a person and they couldn't even respond back to your text, my bad. I had to plug in my My laptop. Thought I had more time. Ooh. I don't know. This is a new laptop. A new, not so new laptop. So, oh, no, we're good. We are good. Yeah. If you're putting all this time and effort into someone or something and you're just not seeing the returns, then don't. I sort of lost my train of thought because this damn battery messed me up. But yeah, right. That's what I was saying. If you would have told me back when I was 21, like, hey, stop texting those people. Stop texting that lady on the app. Like, go your own way and just leave them alone. Obviously, they don't want to meet up with you. They don't want to talk to you. Those people don't want to hang out with you. Coworkers don't want to hang out with you. Whatever, like, you're not going to get to that accolade because those requirements and that crowd to do what someone would have to do to fit in that crowd or fit in with those people is just, it's ridiculous. It's not worth your time. So you should go your own way, right? Let me tell you something. People respect that more than you hanging around, trying to be friendly, trying to be a friend to everybody, trying to pander to everybody. And guess what? The opposite sex or whoever you're into, your desired mate, is that the right way? Your romantic interest, right? Will respect that. Straight up. If something's not going right with that, if you're getting stood up or if, the energy just is not that good, delete the contact. Cold. That's how you got to be. Just delete it. Go your own way. Do your thing. Because if you just keep on spamming text, which I know that people do, and I wouldn't say I would say I've sent some text, that I should not have, right? But I've never texted someone for like a month straight or 3 months, 6 months straight. And I hear that people are doing this, to people that are trying to court, that they're interested in. That's wild. Don't do that, because that's energy that you're using on someone or, even something that is wasted, and that's not right, and that's, it's not that, if someone's not interested in you or if someone doesn't like you, then just back off. It's not a big deal. It's not even a knock on them because, pretty much no response is a response, right? But they're not going to give you the time of day or even expend energy to explain to you that they don't like you, right? Or they're not going to tell you what they, they're not going to tell you why, they don't want to spend energy on you or whatever. And this is personally or romantically or professionally, sometimes you're just not going to get an answer, but no answer is an answer. If you think about it, no answer isn't an answer. So, yeah. That's word. Yeah, dial it back, conserve that energy. Put into things and put into positive thought and people and things that reciprocate it back to you accordingly, and life will be all right, But yeah, if you told me all of this back when I was 21, 22, I'd be like, nah, that's stupid. Or maybe it would probably just be a hard pill to swallow because, I wasn't a knucklehead, I listened. It's just, the execution was lacking. So, yeah, that's all I got to say about that, Take that into account. Do what you want with that information. 34 minutes to be exact. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Episode 4, energy. Protect that. Keep that one close. It's a precious resource. Right? All right, y'all. It was real. Thanks for listening. Y'all stay classy.